Welcome to another episode of Exploring the Vintage NFT Space podcast with ZeroG. Today, I'm excited to have with me one of the OG artists in the Pepe scene, Pepelangelo. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting.
Yeah, really looking forward to chatting with you today. I've seen a bunch of your work and have talked to uh, a few of your collectors, and it's certainly an exciting part of the rare Pepe slash Pepe space. So
Yes, I'm painting Pepes from 2016, and my very first oil painting was a Pepe portrait. So it's not like it's not only the start of my Pepe painting artist career, but it's also the start of everything, the start of painting, the start of art for me. Pepe is, like 0 and 1 and 2 and 3 for me. Pepe is everything.
well, I guess let's step back a little bit before we get into your because I know a little bit about your story with getting started. Why don't you tell us how you came across the rare Pepe community and the whole like Pepe meme that kind of got you started, um and also your let's we can also talk about separately too your history as an artist too. I mean, I guess let's start first with your history as an artist. Like where how'd you get started?
So I had no art education.
Uh-huh.
All my life, I was sure that I will never become an artist because, from early childhood, my mom and she told me like all my drawings and sketches, they are not perfect, and it's not mine, and a lot of stuff like this because all children they drawing something endlessly, and like you should be more hardworking, and I had even no dreams to become an artist. I played the piano. I was thinking about like being film director or something like this, and I had no education, and I still don't have any education, like official education. And I'm working from 17 years old. I worked in different places. I worked with wine, with perfumery, and I uh, I was like 19, 20 years old. I hold an illegal wine bar. And um, I had to sell it, so I didn't know what to do because it was 2014 and all this Russian Ukrainian stuff started,
Oh
and
yeah.
in Russia, yes, we rubble crashed, and everything was so unexpected and complicated, and even for me because I was like 19, 20 years old, I didn't understood what's going on here. So um I was kind of depressed, and I lived in a very bad apartment on the first floor. I even have rats, to be honest, in my home, like real rats.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do. And I had a friend, she was an artist. She was doing watercolors, and sometimes, not very often, she sold it like maybe for $80 or something, maybe 2 3 times in a month. And I thought, cool. So artists, they could make some money, interesting. And she recommended me her old painting teacher. It was a very interesting lady. She was art critics, not like a painter or something. And she said, yes, I can give you some lessons of drawings and paintings. And she was kind of crazy a little bit, with some strange habits, strange stories and everything. And I started taking drawing lessons at first because everything starts from drawing. And I was really, really bad at drawing. I was so bad that sometimes I cried during the lesson. Then she said, okay, let's try with colors. We started with watercolors, like drawing from life, some like pots, fruits, very simple stuff. And it was better. It was better, not perfect, not in academical style, because in Russia we have a very strong academical school of drawing and painting, one of the strongest and the coolest in the world. We don't have this liberal arts, find yourself educations. We have very strict teachers there. So I wasn't perfect at watercolors also. And it was my birthday time, and my grandmom, she sent me a couple of canvases because she knew that I studied art lessons, and they were not new. So she already drawed and paint something on it, and she told me, just you can paint it over and paint something by yourself. What do you want? The first one was with some flowers, and another one was with Jesus, because my gosh is, a very strange religion person. I mean, she believing in all religions at the same times. So sometimes it's Buddha, sometimes it's Jesus, sometimes it's like aliens who build pyramids. She's believing in everything. And so yes, I had two canvases with flowers and with Jesus. And from even in school, I was a big fan of anonymous image boards. And Pepe was very popular meme in Russian speaking segment of these image boards also. And there are even some different Pepe memes in Russian, with some Russian atmosphere and something. And of course, I was depressed, and Pepe was the most. Pepe was my favorite meme that time, and I had a huge collection of different memes. And so I received that canvases from my grandma and decided, okay, I want to learn painting. The first and the best method to learn painting is to copy old masters. That's how old masters were learned by themselves. I mean, like 300, 400 years ago. You're not taking lessons. You just copy your teacher, copy other artists doing it for several years. And after that, maybe they will give you to paint something by yourself. So copying practice is the most powerful and old way to learn painting. I knew that, and I decided, okay, I will copy something. And I didn't have a good smartphone or like anything with big screen. And my art teacher, she said, oh, you can take some books from my shelf and choose something you want to copy. And okay, I have a small canvases. What can I copy? Oh, portrait of this guy. Who is it? It's Philip II. Okay, it's like a little portrait with a lot of beautiful golden embroidery on his chest, tiny, shiny details, very, perfect, beautiful. And I decided, okay, I will copy it. It's impossible. It will be, it will be bad, but I will try my best to copy it. But the guy, this Philip II, he wasn't handsome. And also, usually when you start learning painting and drawing, you start with very simple objects. And only after several years of practice, you can go and paint and draw a human. Usually you start with only head, skull, and then doing other parts. And only then you can paint and draw like the full human. So I decided, okay, this face is too complicated for me. I'm just the beginner. But what can I do? I could have some fun. I can take Pepe the Sad Frog because it's simple. It's a simple form. It's like 2D. So I can imagine that he is not 2D, that he has some volume, that it's like not a circle, that it's an egg, and imagine where it would be some lights and shadows. And doing this will be fun because, I'm painting Pepe the frog in oil. That's cool. It will make my miserable hours not so miserable. And I spent like a month almost every day. I was painting Pepe and all his costume, trying to copy everything from this book, trying my best. I painted it over several times, some details, and painted it again and painted it again. So it was my first oil painting. And I spent a lot of time just to understand how I can explain the Pepe face to myself, like this looks like an egg, okay, and this like another egg, and okay, if this little wrinkle would have volume, so there will be some lights, okay, so under it should be some shadow, okay, if he's green, we need some warm or cold shadows. I was thinking about this stuff like for weeks. And when it was the end of work, I was very surprised how cool it is. That's all.
Yeah,
Hey.
that's awesome. I mean, so when your grandmother gave you the canvases, those were like canvases were really expensive, and that was a good way like to get you kickstarted, right? Is that
Uh right now I don't think that it's expensive, but it was expensive for me that
yeah,
time.
at the time, yeah, that's what I mean, is that was a kind of a big deal to help get you started.
Yes, that's true. And even to buy some paint and brushes, it was, I needed to allow it for myself. Yes, you can spend such huge amount of money to your hobby. Yes, you can do it. And I was preparing like for maybe a week, and then I went to the art shop with my painting teacher, and she helped me to choose everything, because when it is your first time in art supplies shop, what even the names of colors, it's not just red or blue or green,
Yeah.
it's more complicated.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So after you did those first two paintings, you said you had already been, obviously that's how you had the idea to make them like pepified, or that at least that one pepified. So how long did it take for you to like to get the idea to try and market those or sell those, and how did you come across like how did you intersect with the rare Pepe community back then?
Oh, it's a long story. Not so fast. Uh, so the very first Pepe was born, and a lot of people told me that it's cool. And I thought, okay, I don't have money, and Christmas and New Year holidays are coming, so maybe I can paint something for my friends, for my family as a present, because it's nice. So maybe I will try to find a customer, and I will have some money to buy presents. So, it wasn't like great business plan. It was just I will try to do it because I think it looks good enough, and maybe it will help me a little bit. So I painted then monks, drinking monks, and I painted Pepe with pearl earring. And of course, it was a little bit faster than 1 month, because it was not the first painting; it was like second and third painting. That's
Uh-huh.
great difference. And anyway, I spent a lot of times, because it was like full time, like 6-8 hours, sometimes even 10 hours. And sometimes you just feel that you're sitting on the chair or it's too long. You just feel some pain. Okay, it's evening, I should go home. And yes, and I was married that times. I had my husband, now it's my ex-husband, but anyway, and he said we should sell it. I told, come on, no one will buy it. It's not serious. It's oil paintings from a girl without any art education, without any skill or something. It's okay, it's funny frogs, but no one is going to buy it. Come on. And he said, no, let's try to find some websites, maybe not in Russia, maybe somewhere else. And I said, okay, do whatever you want. And he found Etsy shop and app and everything. And he created like online shop for me from my phone. I had nothing to do with it, with this, so I didn't believe that it will work. So, and after New Year and after Trump's election, suddenly at 4 a.m. I heard the sound like something is selling on this website in my online shop, and I was so surprised, and I didn't believe it, because I was sure that it's like mistake of app or website or something, because come on, there were 0 visitors for a month, and now it's like selling, selling, selling. And I just renewed all paintings again and sold it again. And then I received several messages from people. There were very popular thread on Reddit, that some couple, they found my shop with Pepe's, created post with my paintings, and it became popular in one night.
Oh, awesome.
And after that, I also received strange messages from people. I think it was almost the first reason when I started using Telegram, because they said, oh, I want to order a painting of Pepe, and maybe we should create card. Do you have Telegram? Let's talk about this. And I took custom orders from the beginning, and the price for my first paintings were like, I think it was $100 and $80 for shipping. And people paid with PayPal. And I think that first, like Pepe crypto people, they found me like in April maybe or March of 2017. But for me, it was strange because they were talking about creating some cards. It maybe not April, I'm not sure. And for me, it was strange because, come on, I have real physical oil painting, and it costs $100, and I don't want to participate in any strange activities, any crypto, something what is crypto. Yes, and like first several months, maybe 6-8 months, I painted Pepe just with PayPal payments, and it was nothing about crypto, and of course nothing about NFT that time.
So you thought the whole idea of those trading cards was kind of a dumb idea at the time, and you just didn't want any part of it, right?
Uh, it was very hard to understand for me what's going on there, because first of all, everything is in English.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you've got the language barrier
Oh,
too.
yes. And now, I have to message a lot in English, and sometimes I have to talk in English, but at times, no. Usually, I translated every word with Google's Translate to be sure that there's no mistakes, and when talking with customers. And sometimes I thought that maybe I don't understand correctly what these people want from me. I didn't understand the technology. I thought maybe it's mistake of translating. Maybe it's just some scam messages, because it was very easy. Just order this painting for $100 and do whatever you want with this. But
Yeah.
these people, they offered me some complicated schemes, like you paint it now, but we will sell it, but we will share it. Share what? We haven't sell to whom? What's going on here? And I was in some Telegram chats, Telegram groups, and people were talking about frogs selling cards and everything. But at the same time, it was like very plain cartoon images of Pepe, sometimes made with paint or Photoshop, very primitive. And I couldn't understand why these people are buying this, because like I'm doing real art. Okay, it's not like great art, but it's physical art, very labor taking, and it's just 5 minutes JPEG, and someone is trying to sell it, and someone is trying to convince me that people will buy, that people are buying JPEGs, and they want to offer something to me. So it was very, I was watching this, but didn't take part in this.
Yeah, it's too bad you didn't have your own card in the original project. That would have been really cool to see. But yeah, I mean, definitely with the especially with the language barrier too. I definitely understand, and I mean, I guess it's a lot more straightforward just doing commissions. But did you start accepting crypto for your work after that,
Yes,
or okay?
yes, I started taking crypto. Uh, I don't know. I'm trying to remember how it was, because in one moment crypto was everywhere, like in all news maybe, and among talking with friends, and several people asked me about crypto payments. I said no, I have PayPal, and then I met one important person in Telegram, and he ordered a lot of paintings. So I was working on 26 paintings for him, I guess. So we talked a lot during the year, because I think it took a year to paint everything for him. It was tarot cards,
Oh,
elder
that's cool.
archons, and pharaoh Pepe with pyramids and everything, and something else I can't remember right now. And I know that he's huge among rare Pepes, and he's legendary. And I know it now. I didn't know it. And he said that I see the future. I know that crypto is something very important, and I know that Pepe is something very important. And I don't believe in it. I know it, and it sounds crazy, but at the same time, I don't know why I believed him, because I talked with a lot of strange people that times who were trying to talk about Pepe and crypto with me, but Damien, I believed him, from the beginning, and I thought that I'm so dedicated to Pepe for months and maybe for almost a year, and this is my life. I spend hours and hours every day. I swear, you see in Pepe every day for hours, not just like in memes. No, you just painting Pepe. I don't know how to explain it,
I
because
mean, that
even
must have even invaded your dreams too.
sometimes when you're painting for hours, you close your eyes and trying to sleep, but you see like very vivid, bright pictures of what you were doing the whole day, especially when you're working on some ornaments or something like this. And you see these ornaments, like in real life, but with closed eyes. Yes, and I believed him, because for me, Pepe was already huge. It was, 80% of my life. And after a couple of months, guys offered me crypto payment, and at the same time, I think that my ex-husband, he found a job, something crypto related. He worked for some like crypto media, crypto news website, and so he talked about crypto. His co-workers, they talked about crypto, and I also worked and helped with some scripts for video explainers about crypto. It was a very, very side job with very low payment. I helped just a little bit, and for me, crypto stopped being something like strange people in Telegram talking about it, became the part of my life. And also there were some friends, they appeared, some crypto friends who already were trying to invest or something like this. And finally, after like maybe 1 year or something, I received the first payment in crypto. I was super excited because, you know, I was trying to prepare myself that everything is a scam. Like, yes, right now you will receive $1,000 or something like this, maybe 80, maybe $800 in crypto. But please, dear Pepelangelo, be ready. That is like, air money, not real money. You will be, you will be scammed. And I received my first payment. And also the second thing, that you need to turn it into something, right? Right now, it is very hard to spend crypto in real life. Uh, and I was going to a little trip to Cyprus to my friend, and I really, really needed this money for my trip. So I had just tickets, but I need money to spend like for food and fun during the traveling. And it was night before the flight, and I was, please be true, please be true. And we have like local unofficial exchanges in Russia, because it's like gray zone. It's not legal, it's not illegal, it's something between. So
Yeah.
in Russia, there are some local telegram bots where you just send them crypto, and they send money directly to your bank account, but usually from several accounts to make small payments. Uh, and when I received like real money on my bank account in maybe in 1 hour or something, I was so happy. It really changed my life. And after that, I was trying not to use PayPal, because PayPal was very complicated. I mean, they take in huge percent, and you need to it was I don't know if it is interesting what I'm talking about, because I think it's a lot of,
Yeah.
well, small
Yeah.
things.
I mean, yeah, that's
I mean,
a
in
big part of the
Russia,
story.
it was very hard to use PayPal, because after a year of you using it, you need to verify yourself, like in real life, to go somewhere with a passport. And it was before long New Year holidays again, and they blocked my PayPal, and really needed to receive money.
Yeah.
I went to some. There were just several spots in the city where you can do it. I went there uh, and had to send very long line, because it was, holidays, and people were buying presents. And at the end, they say, "Oh, our program for verifying is not working. I don't know what to do. Sorry." And it's the same situation in the whole country. So officially, you have an opportunity to verify yourself, but in real life, their program is not working, so you are blocked. And I had a lot of messages with their technical support. I talked a lot with them, and they unblock it for another 1 year. But after all, this long journey with PayPal, I asked all people to pay with crypto. And I asked all people to try it, because some people, they were not ready to try something new. And right now, I can say that all my money are in crypto. I usually don't have big amount on my bank accounts, and I can explain why, because it's very actual. I
Yeah,
mean, yes.
that's really cool. I know that PayPal's been really burdensome for a lot of people.
Yes. And
I like
different rules
even people
per
in the
country.
US are get screwed by them, where for at the drop of a hat they can just suspend your account and basically steal your money. They've done that for political reasons even in the US, so I would imagine it's like even worse, if you're, you know, outside the US. And
Yeah, it's very
so
hard even to reach them.
yeah,
So
they're notorious for having I know that there's a couple times I used to sell some stuff on eBay as a little side hustle, and it's essentially funny that it's almost impossible to actually get any real support. They've crafted their entire business around having essentially
mhm.
almost zero support. Like,
Yes.
and I'm not exaggerating. Like, there's almost zero support for a company that's pulling in zillions of dollars and fees for for doing almost nothing, really. So I don't know. It's a terrible company. So any chance to get away from them is, certainly
For me, it
welcome.
was the only opportunity to get money from abroad. So
Hmm.
I had no choice. I had to use it.
Yeah.
And, anyway, people trust it because I have
Yeah.
orders for Pepes from Europe, from USA, from Australia, from Canada, from all over the world. So, all people know what is PayPal. Of course, right now in 2023, right? People know
Yeah.
what is crypto, but for that times it was crazy. And I
Well,
had
just
to leave Russia. I had to leave Russia a couple years ago because of this political situation, because of Ukrainian war, Russian-Ukrainian war, and you know that we have sanctions, and our banks in Russia, they made everything to prevent you from taking money from your bank account. So if
oh,
you, like couple years ago, if you are Russian and you have some money on your bank account and you want to leave Russia, it was almost impossible because they invented new rules in one night, like you need to make an appointment and then you can take only some $1,000. It was hard to take off dollars. It was impossible to take it from uh, ATMs. So people stayed in lines for hours, in night, in early morning, the whole day, just to take their money out of bank. And it was rubble crushed again. And you know that they blocked Russian cards. So if you have money on a Russian bank card, you can't use it anywhere, only in Russia right now. It's like real situation.
oh no, I
And
didn't I didn't realize that they restricted the like
notice,
yeah.
so now if you have some money in Russian banks, you're under sanctions and your card is just a piece of plastic abroad. So you still can spend money in Russia, but you can't, your card is not working in other countries. So if you need some money abroad, you need to have cash. But you know that there are rules that you can't have like a lot of cash when you leave the country or when you enter the country. They check it. At the same time, also that banks, they invented new rules in one night. So if you want to take money from your bank account, you need to make an appointment and you can take only a little bit. You can
Yeah.
do like the whole sum. And I was ready to leave in one night, like because everything, all my money, they were in crypto,
That's
everything.
aw- that's
But
awesome.
for
Yeah,
example, my boyfriend, he
mhm.
had something on his bank accounts, and we had to spend in Russia, several extra weeks because he had to go to bank like one or two times in a week. It was very even hard to find a time where they can, work with you in office because everything is full. So he had to take cash from bank and buy crypto in like this half illegal
Yeah.
with the offices, and that's how he saved his money. And we went to Armenia, then to Georgia and everything. And I know a lot of people who they had no idea about crypto. And that times a lot of startups appeared. So people just helped other people to take money out of Russia with buying crypto. But when you are like 70 years old or 50 years old and had no idea about technologies, it is very hard for you. So you pay to someone who will do it for you right now. So
Yeah,
it was like kind of startups that times.
that makes sense. Yeah. Um yeah, I mean there's been uh yeah, tons of countries that have tried to do capital controls that for similar reasons, basically to, at the end of the day, like I think it's really crazy how they'll they have these banks that basically try and interrogate you or question you or put limitations on withdrawing your money, so yeah, that's they're all just a bunch of scams. So
I'm
I
just
mean,
reading about this because, when I really used banks, I wasn't, I had no money, I had money just to pay 1 month rent and to buy some food. So it's always less than 1,000. When I started having just a little bit over 1,000 on my bank account, I already was, introduced to crypto. So for me, it's just reading scary tales. I can't imagine like being in this situation, but I have people, my friends, my close ones, who really had to deal with it. And now also for some people with Russian passports, it is a great, trouble, great difficult to make a new bank card, even if they are not living in Russia, even if they have legal jobs for other, companies,
oh, okay.
for
Hmm.
European companies. It was very hard to open a bank account because you have Russian passport. Because banks, they don't want to receive like sanctions. They working with Russians, and it is in Armenia. It was almost impossible to receive payment, even if you have a company, even if you have official company bank account. You have all documents from company who paid, but every time you're trying to receive your money from your bank account, it was, you need more documents and more documents and more documents. And here in Georgia, just one bank is working properly, and other banks, they, for example, they opened several accounts for Russians, but then they closed it, and that's all.
Oh yeah,
So
that's crazy.
you know
So
saved a lot of people here in Georgia and Armenia. There are like crypto mates, even in the street. There are a lot of offices and exchanges, and everything is very crypto, friendly. And you can even buy a land with crypto. You can legalize your crypto money if you sold NFT or something. It's possible and very easy here, and that's really saved us like a couple of years ago.
that's great. Yeah. So you had to move during that during the start of the those hostilities there with the Ukrainian war. So well, I'm glad that you were able to flee with your crypto, since that's one of the things I've always thought was one of the biggest like uh like use cases for crypto, is that you can, even if you just have memorized some words, you can travel around the world and there's no way that a government can stop you, So, I mean, uh, good luck trying to do that with a roll of gold coins or something, or a big wad of cash, right?
That's the second thing I don't understand, about like huge exchanges. I don't understand why people using it. I mean, not like your wallets, but
Yeah,
having
in the US,
crypto somewhere else.
yeah, I mean, in the US, at least for myself, like over the past few years, I've just been using big exchanges just because I'm lazy and as a form of convenience. But I've also used things like local Bitcoins where you can do peer to peer. There's even services like oh, I'm forgetting the name, the BISC, where you can do peer to peer using a protocol like. But we don't have the robust that kind of robust market like
Mhm.
your countries have, with kind of like these informal exchanges like that's like, it's funny, our in the US, our like, our police will crack down on only certain things. So for example, if you try and do something like uh if you like if you try and do something business wise like that, informally, like they've made examples out of several people where they've just given them extremely hard prison sentences for basically
Mhm.
doing informal running an informal exchange, where on the other hand, they let people like Bernie Madoff, who they've had information on for years, they allow them to run these, the largest Ponzi scheme in history. So it's like we have just different, like, the way I look at it is these different countries have, like, they're all corrupt, they just have different types of corruption and how that plays out. Like the way that it works out in the at least in the West, from what I've seen, is that they they're very punitive on people actually at the lower level, like running any trying to get away with anything. Whereas what I've seen in other like in the Mid East and whatnot is that the difference is that they actually allow people lower down in the totem to actually get like participate and don't interfere as much. So that's what I've seen. But yeah,
So
we just don't have
about
that.
I forgot the beginning of the question.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just got sorry, I went on a little ramble there. But yeah, well
Yes,
that's
my
cool.
first crypto payments. Yes, when I started doing this, I now I don't use anything else. Yes, I still have this PayPal option, but I'm trying not to use it.
Yeah, and I guess the last question on the PayPal part was so because I haven't used it like overseas, I've just used it within the US. What's the what kind of cut were they taking in order to like for you to do business? How much were they taking out of your
Oh, I can't say it right now because people paying in dollars, in euros, and then
yeah.
it's moving to sometimes it's transforming to local Georgian lari, sometimes not, sometimes I don't know. It's in Russia, it was like almost 10%. But you realize it only after you did it because it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
two,
Mhm.
3% for this, 2, 3% for this, 2, 3%, and it's 10 at the end. But it's hard to like read it directly what's going on here. In Georgia, I can say now because I have such a mess in my head. I mean, I was counting all my life in rubles. Then I started working with abroad, so it was euros and dollars. Now they're, ruble crashed again, and it's another, it's hard to count now. Then we lived in Armenia with Armenian drums. Then we live in Georgia, but I'm traveling, so uh, sometimes you had to fly a lot through Turkey, and uh, numbers are changing every day. And right now, I don't know what percent they taking, and I even don't know. I'm buying milk. I don't know if it is good price or bad because I
Yeah.
understand. I understand it now. I have like a lot of currencies in my head, and every day it's different levels. And also you check in crypto, you check in different meme coins, and it's no you know, like
we're we're already living the
oh,
cyberpunk
standard.
future.
You don't know, is it good? $3, $5. And now, okay, I'm counting everything in dollars, but I've never lived in countries with dollars. So, when I can tell to my parents, it costed $3. And so what? They haven't bought anything in their lives in dollars. So that's no sense.
So you started doing these you started accepting crypto. So like this became a full-time job for you, right?
Yes, when I started painting after
Mhm.
2, 3 months, when I made the first sale, and it started for me like full-time job till today.
Yeah, I mean, and how does that feel having I mean, one, I always think that it's remarkable for artists to kind of take that leap, and go out there without a safety net to do something like this full time. I mean, how does it feel to, now you've got I think you're well, at least within the Pepe community, you're pretty famous and have been able to make a living, doing this work.
For me, for a long time, it was like living in a bubble. Sometimes you don't understand if it is real because I had different kind of jobs in my life. For example, I worked as a journalist in a very, very small news website in Kovrov city. It's super small city. It's like, 1 hour walking from one side to another. And my salary was like $100 in a month. And I worked in a like liquor shop and cleaning floors and working on cashiering and offering
Cashier. Yeah.
packages and everything. So I really worked like this also. So it was, very hard job. It was like more than 20 hours doing very hard stuff, not only talking with people about wine, but cleaning everything and downloading heavy bottles and everything. And I also had experience like working as public relation manager in a high level perfumery store with very rare perfumes and everything. And for me, suddenly to stay at home and to paint, it was, like you seeing a very strange dream, because you don't really talk with people who buying it, you just messaging with them,
Yeah.
because you just painting. For me, for a long time, painting and drawing was something connected with childhood, because we see a lot of children who is drawing, but it is hard to find adults who is drawing. So for me, it was just like playing, yes, playing hard, very intensive playing, but suddenly you have some money to buy food and to pay rent, and you messaging in English, and it's not native language, so it's just another type of separating it from real life. So in real life, you sitting in a very small kitchen covered with paint and feeling back pain and painting frog, and in another part, like Neo in Matrix at the beginning of the first film, like he was a very low level coder, like even not middle, and in the evening he's someone cool going somewhere, a very famous hacker or something like this. And for me, uh, this was for years I didn't understand what's going on, like people buying my paintings, then I have money to buy food, and it was like for several years for me like this. And then you painting more and more and more, and there is some part of my job that I really really hate. It's shipping, because
Oh,
to ship,
really?
yes, to ship painting you need to receive special documents from Ministry of Culture.
Oh no.
Yes,
Jeez.
you need to prove that it has no historical and cultural value, and you're not robbing your own country. Of course, first time I'm taking a lot of orders. I made a lot of copies of my paintings, and first several times I visited it like physically every time with paintings, and
Mhm.
it was always with old ladies. They having endless tea and coffee parties there, and they usually have uh, icons. They making documents for icons when tourists buying some like vintage, not even antique icons. They're doing document that it's not super old. Please, next. And then I am peering in their office with all these frog paintings, have to fill all forms with, by hand. They washing these frogs, and they said, okay, here is your papers. Then I came again and again and again, and we became, not good friends. But they say, Olga, what do you have right now? Okay, here is your documents. And in Russia, you have to pay for these documents.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because in Armenia and in Georgia, it's super cheap. It's almost nothing. And in Armenia, it was free. And in Russia, it was not like directly Minister of Culture, but very close. It's
Mhm.
like agency who working for them. And in Armenia, I had to take my paintings every time I ship it and to go to like government office with these paintings. And here in Georgia, you can do it with just your computer, but you still have to do it.
That, I
And
never
yes,
thought
I
about that.
don't do any shipping. I have an assistant. So you have these documents, and then you go to FedEx or something, some other company, and you need to make another lot of fucking papers because of this cultural, historical, stupid papers. And you need like custom manager or something like this. Usually FedEx, they did it for me, but some small companies, you have to make even more papers with all names and addresses, who is sending, to whom is sending, which size, what is this, how it package, how it was packed, because for example, they checked it usually, even if FedEx, if you packed everything, you need to open it again to prove that, yes, it's oil painting with frog, yes, please. And yes, I hate these papers, and I have an assistant who is doing it for me.
That's a big quality of life improvement if you have an assistant to handle all that headaches, because that sounds I
It's
didn't
very
realize it. Yeah,
yes.
I
And
didn't
also,
realize it would be that
deep
complicated.
you need to take it off the wooden frame inside
Mhm.
there, a plain wooden stretcher, and you need to take it off, and it takes some time. And then I usually roll it on a tube, or put it inside a plastic, just regular plastic tube. And then you need to pack it again and again, and it takes some time, and you need to buy these tubes then to cut it off, to make it the size you need. And I hate doing this too, so I was so happy when I found people who can do it for me, because usually after one shipment I need to take like 5 days off to recover.
Yeah, yeah, and the fact that you were actually having to physically haul your paintings down to some bureaucrat's office just to get paperwork that it wasn't,
Yeah,
old
that's
old
crazy.
paintings. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so you've turned this into your kind of your profession, I guess is what you'd say. So, and you've become quite successful at it too. So, I've seen that. I remember seeing a few years ago or talking to some collectors where you were, doing custom orders, and you were even minting. I think you were minting a token to go along with it too at the time. Um, is that still? And I just saw recently on Twitter you have like a web shop where you're offering prints now too. Is that still your focus, or what are you doing now, and what are your plans for the future?
For a long time, I had no idea, that I should think about what I'm doing like a career, like a long-term something. And like people want to buy it, I'm making it for them, and that's all. So no strategy. And when I made my popular paintings at the beginning, a lot of people asked me to repeat it. And once I found myself, I'm like painting maybe 8 copies of the same painting in a month.
Oh, no
And
way.
I understood that it's crazy. Like I'm doing several new paintings with new ideas, but I'm doing 8 copies of the same, and I did it last month, and definitely I will do it next month. And I told to myself, you can stop doing this. It's yes, it's money, but you can stop taking orders for copying. And also a lot of people, I of course I wrote on my website that if you buy this, you please understand that it's a copy, a hand painted copy, not totally the same, but it's not the original painting you saw like in the internet 3 years ago. And you write in it like huge text, but some people still not reading it. And sometimes people were angry that it's not the original painting, but there's nothing to do, because they were officially informed from the beginning. And I decided to stop taking orders for copying myself, because it's boring. I hate copying, it's boring. And at the same time, I didn't want people to confuse. I didn't want to confuse people about what they have copy or original. And I received a lot of questions about this, and even it took a lot of time to answer all people about this. And prints, a lot of people told me that you should sell prints, you should sell merch, you should sell prints, you should sell merch, you should sell t-shirts. And I told them, come on, I'm doing oil painting. Who wants this stupid prints? Because there's no value, just print, it's not cool. But I received offers and questions about this a lot of times, and okay, I will try make prints. but I was so, I think it was such a shame to sell just prints, because you just print and selling it for, some money, and shipping, you still should do the shipping stuff. And I decide, okay, it's print, but I will put some brush strokes, some, more details, some oil paint on, directly on the print, so it would be unique, and now it will have some value. And now I think that I want to have time to work all on my own ideas, to try to live like an artist finally. Work on my own ideas. And maybe trying to have some money from prints. I still spend time with this prints. I'm, touch every print people buy, and I have videos about this and everything. And I feel that I'm not lying to people, because when I can't imagine myself just selling prints, I've never touched it. I think it's not honest. Yes, and I wish I could have time to working on my projects. Do I have projects right now? No, I have just like several thoughts about this. And also, we talked with you about how I understand in myself like full-time artist. I forgot to tell you the end of the story. So I told you that I was living like in a bubble, and for me it was like an a real life. And suddenly last year I decided to go to an event in Barcelona. It was historical NFT festival. And for me it was super crazy, but my life that year was super crazy. I had to change the country in 1 month and everything. And I had some troubles in my family. My mother, they found cancer, and all this news about war in Ukraine. It's crazy, because Russian and Ukraine. We all have relatives in Ukraine. All Ukrainians, they have relatives in Russia, and it's very hard to imagine that you have war with this country. It's impossible for me. And so yes, it was crazy. Yeah, and said, okay, I'm going to this festival because why not? And it was the first evening in Barcelona, and it was evening before the official start of the festival, and it was like dinner supper in a restaurant. And I was so it was so scary for me, because I'm going to somewhere. I I have nothing to do with historical vintage NFTs, and I don't know anyone. And then I enter the space with huge tables and a lot of people, and like half of them were screaming, "Oh, Pepelangelo, hello!" So what's going on? Who is these people? Why they know my face? And then I'm talking with one, with another one. Oh, that guy, he ordered a very strange painting from me like 3 years ago. Oh, and I know him. We talked like in Telegram 3 years ago about something else. So, it was, it, I don't know how to describe it. It was impossible. So in one moment, all these people I don't know, they turned into people I knew for a long time.
That's got to be a surreal experience, to go
Super
from
surreal.
strictly online to actually seeing it in real life.
Yes, and this event that was crazy. This was life changing, and I even made a short reels in Instagram about this. And I regret that I made not a lot of videos and photos, because I was busy. I'm working with hands, and I'm proud of this, that I'm doing some real work. And when you're working with hands, it's hard to film something or take a lot of photos. Yes, and after historical NFT festival, I went to some other events, to other countries, other events, some events from Bitcoin magazine, some other cool events, but to Pepe Fest in Paris, of course. But it was finally, I had like two lives, like Pepe artist life in the internet, and Pepe artist life in real life. And Pepe artist life in the internet was like glorious and cool and fun, and real life was just, sitting the whole day in the same chair in the dirty clothes. Finally, my two personalities, they became one, and I was so happy. And why I really love visiting events right now, and I really enjoy working on these events. And when I'm visiting something, some event, I really try to work there, not just chatting or having fun, because I feel that I can work for people. I can entertain them with painting, because painting is fun. To be a model for a paper portrait is fun. To to interact with, I'm trying not to just show painting on the wall or something. I'm trying to invent some activity with the painting, or to become a part of Pepe something. I think this interaction is cool, and because just watching pics, you can do it at home with your phone. And I really enjoy it. And I forgot what I wanted to say, because I'm super excited again about all this. So yes, for me, it's the best part, these events, because I feel like all my two different parts of my life, and finally are in the same place. So I'm not just internet or something. I'm not just a dirty painter. I'm the one person. Finally, I'm full. And
Yeah, that sounds like a great experience. Well, and yeah, that's that's got to be kind of surreal to go from basically having, you know, like you create all your work and then it just gets sent in the mail and you never actually see a real person. It's all like kind of like virtual to actually like seeing people in real life that have like you've gone through the motions before and actually have your work. So
can you repeat the question, please?
oh, I was just saying, yeah, it's got to be gratifying to actually see people you've actually done business with, and like to to finally go
Yes,
to having like, you
and
know,
that is real people. And
yeah.
but the thing I really love about this, but usually, people who order paintings, they are adults. But I didn't understood, how old are they? And usually when you're, you know, more than 25 years old or more than 30 years old, you have a family. And painting is something what is visible to all your guests and all your family. So it's not usually for one strange guy sitting behind the computer. It's something new for the whole family. And these people, they have children, they have wives, they have parents, they have friends. And when they invited them to their homes, they see my paintings and they have some opinions about this. And then my customers, they came back to me and said like, oh, my mom loves it. Oh, like my daughter, she really loves it. Oh, it's cool frog for my like 5 years old son. It's not Pepe, but it's just funny frog, but he's so happy with this. And this part is cool. But when you meet these people with their families, sometimes in real life, after several years, after finishing and sending the painting, it's mind-blowing. I can't explain, because you're not just doing commission, you're doing something for the whole family, and usually they like it. And oil painting is something uh, uh, so you can, it's like legacy, it's heritage. So you can leave it to your children, to your grandchildren. And it's not just something material, it's a custom order. So it's a part of something, how you see life. It's a part of your interest, your hobbies, because Pepe and crypto is is kind of this sphere is kind of hobby for a lot of people, and you can share with your grandchildren with your interest and hobby through generations, with the help of art. And it's
Yeah,
so cool to serve to this. I'm so happy to this.
and you're probably one of the first artists to actually, you know, like make a living off of memes. It's it's really amazing.
Yes, it's amazing. That's true. Because I know that when people talking about Pepe, when people talking about crypto, when we're talking about Pepe cards and everything, and NFTs, usually it is very something short term. So we talking about very short perspectives, like is it bull market or no? If we sell these cards or no? And of course, it's hard to talk, in a long perspective because it's a very young industry, it's a very young direction and everything. But I'm very lucky. I was lucky like several times. First time when this couple, they found my Etsy shop. Second time I was lucky when people are started buying NFTs and everything, and I became like officially finally became the part of Pepe community, that part of Pepe community. And of course, I was lucky to make decision to go to my first historical NFT event and meet all these people. But I want to say that yes, crypto is great, art is great, Pepe is great. There's nothing to discuss here. All these things are great, and I'm lucky that I have all these aspects together in my work. Because some people who ordering paintings, they have no idea about crypto. They just love Pepe, or some of them. They ordering Pepe portrait for their grandchildren as a present for Christmas, for example. So
Oh, that's
imagine
awesome.
I'm messaging like with old lady, and she just know this. Her grandson, he just love this some Pepe cartoon frog, and she's finding me, or like maybe her grandson, he told you know her about me, and this is for my grandson. And of course, I'm taking this order. What can I do? Come on. So yes, I'm super lucky with all of this.
Yeah, so I mean, you've had I mean, talk about a really unexpected like twist in your life, to go from kind of working odd jobs to now you're painting Pepe for, been painting Pepe for a living for, and now we're recording this and towards the end of 2023. So that's almost like it's almost 7 years of doing that, you know?
Yeah, that's almost 7 years.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll be interested to see what you decide to do in the future. You said you had some projects you've been thinking of, so that'll be cool to see. Is there anything that you want to like? Are there any projects or anything you want to shill or discuss uh, here on the while we're recording too?
Mm, First of all, I want to say that I still feel lack of education like an artist, because I feel ashamed a little bit that I'm taking money from people and I have no official education as an artist. And I know a lot of artists. Most of them, of course, are Russians. They are from Russian and got their education from some traditional Russian academies. And they are better than me. I mean, technical stuff, they are way better than me. And I wish, it's impossible to change your life, to turn everything back, because art education is something very serious. Because I think that we should treat art like professional sports career. Because if you want to go to Olympic Games, usually you are 5, 6 years old, and you go into like trainings, everyday training, and you're doing it and doing it and doing it and spending hours and hours every day, and it's great discipline and very strong, very strict standards. So after all of this, you can be a professional, I don't know, boxer, or ballet dancer. It's not sport, but anyway, it's art. And I think that artists should be created, should be educated since childhood like this. So for me, and for a lot of people with traditional art systems, it works like this. Because it's about skill, and it's not only like your brain skill, because you can know how to paint, you can know how to make a good drawing, but you make it with your hands right now. Yes, we have AI and everything, that's another topic, but you still do it with your hand, and your hand should be connected to your brain very well. And it's about, you know, little movements, it's about motoric, it's about you know, a lot of little tips, but it's about training your eyes, training your vision. It's about learning art history and how it was made before you, because we have so, you know, ages and ages of art history. And I think to become an artist, you should be highly educated and highly disciplined person, like a person who is working with not only brain but with your body, with your hands, because it's physical labor, it's not just painting. And I wish I could have, you know, extra 7 years or extra 5 years. Like I wish I could stop time right now, go to have a proper education, and, you know, to play time again, and then to paint Pepes again. But right now I understand that for me it's almost impossible, because I'm already in the game. I need to paint frogs. And I'm trying to have short courses, I'm trying to read, I'm trying to practice every day with maybe little sketches. And I see how ugly it is. Yes, frogs are, you know, good enough, but when I'm trying to make a little sketch, a little portrait, like a human head, or like, you know, some wine glasses with a bottle, I still see that I'm not perfect, I'm not good, I, you know, I'm not even okay. From my point of view. So there's a lot of stuff to learn, and I'm trying to plan my, you know, to have an educational plan for myself. And at the same time, I'm thinking that it's impossible and possible and surprising thing that Pepe the Frog is so popular. Because as I told you, it was popular in Russia, it's popular in English speaking countries. But I also talking with people from India, from Africa, from South Europe, from Japan. In all countries, Pepe, people know Pepe. Pepe know people, people know Pepe in all countries. It's so popular. And, you know, I wish we could find a secret why. But I think that also this secret is not a secret, it just some very complicated um some complicated thing. Because, you know, we have myths, we have like do you know that there a theory that all myths are kind of the same in all cultures,
Mhm.
because there are just several scenes for all books and films and tales. There are just several types of scripts. And you know, some told that it's like 7 or 22, doesn't matter. But because we are human, we have the same experience, like we born, then we growing up, then we have husbands or children or something else, we making the same way. And this way is described in our very old myths and then tales. So all tales and myths of different cultures, they are kind of the same, because they are talking about the same human living experience. And from this point, I want to think about frogs again, because yes, Pepe the frog is a very popular frog, modern frog, but people of all cultures, they have something about frogs in their cultures. And I talked about frogs in different cultures with people on our Pepe events and historical NFT events. And it's very interesting because a frog is an animal who is living between water and earth. So, and also frogs, they could be kind of frozen and then living again. And frogs connected with water, and water in all cultures usually is connected with um, fertility, and it's connected with, you know, women's stuff, and connected with the moon. So it a lot of, you know, loaded with huge cultural aspects, frogs in all cultures. And I want to collect different myths, and I want to collect different stories and tales about frog from all cultures, and maybe create something about this. So I'm interested in frogs in different kind of arts in different cultures, and I'm already started to collecting this, and it's so interesting. Uh, and I also wanted to start to try not only oil painting, but maybe other kinds of materials. I made a huge toad sculpture for Miami Bitcoin,
Oh,
and
awesome.
yes, it was very fun to ship it because it's like it's huge. It's half of my head, and it was heavy. And now I'm collecting. Yes, I want to try manga, and I want to create manga about frogs also. And I want to solve this secret about frogs, why we love frogs. And also frogs are very, you know, frogs bodies without skin, when you see like the skeleton, it's kind of similar to humans, especially like legs which looks like arms, and almost everything is very like human but not human. It's interesting. And the last thing I want to say about frogs and crypto, why Pepe, from my theory, Pepe is about crypto right now, because as I told you, frog is creature who is living between two worlds. And for ancient people, for them there were two worlds, like world of life and world of death. World of life, it's like summer and earth and something very predictable and understandable. And the part with death is about, it's something chaotic, it's about winter, and about cycle, because our life, it's about cycle, life and death, summer and winter, dying and borning. And right now, if we're talking about crypto, and if we're talking about market, and we're talking about, you know, the beginning of new money, maybe it's we are on the ancient stage of this new world. I think we are on the ancient stage, and we have cycles. We can't predict it right now because we are just in the beginning of our ancient world. But everything is very chaotic, and the way to survive, maybe we need to learn from frogs who is living between two worlds, stable and not stable, earth and water, night and day, winter and summer. So it's about surviving between cycles, and it's about be ready to live between life and death, and to be ready to live in like chaotic part and predictable part. That's my cultural theory about frogs and crypto and Pepe.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess on your last note, I do think we're like my personal view is, again, we're in 2023. I like everything that appears to be gearing up towards like some chaotic events for normal people like you and me, where I think like my interpretation is that we have a lot of these major central banks are purposely we're in like the looting stage where the central banks are and their associated cronies, they're basically looting, and they're in the stage where they're preparing and they're intentionally getting ready to blow up these national currencies in order to lay the path forward for their plan to implement CBDCs to as the essentially the ultimate level of control. So I do think that we're going to need to be, I don't know, it's going to be an interesting, the next 10, 20 years are definitely going to be interesting because these are huge, you know, huge shifts for humanity that, we're going to have to be navigating that, again, most people aren't talking about, but like if you're reading the writing on the wall, that's how I'm interpreting what's going on. But I guess one thing I'd say too is that, you were talking about, and I definitely respect your drive to get better as an artist. But one thing I thought was cool about like Rare Pepes is that, even if you weren't really like the best artist, if you just had a really good idea or something and you just were able to convey it, like that alone could be enough, even if your art was kind of bad, it was like, you know, I don't know. I just really liked that Rare Pepe project for that. I mean, you didn't have to be a serious artist or actually be able to, you know, do anything great to participate. I thought that was like a very liberating in the fact that anyone, if they're an amateur, could just, put something out there and have fun and take part.
It depends about it's about requirements for yourself first of
Yeah.
all,
Well, sure.
other people, and I think that we have like responsibility when you're when people call you OG or something like this. I had no idea what is OG. I read about what is OG just last year. And when people talking about you like first something or something else, I think you are very responsible and you're showing the example. And yes, you of course you can play. There always should be some playing with ideas, playing with art and everything. But as we talked, I'm full-time artist, and I feel that I'm very responsible for things I'm doing for people. And
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying that, like, again, this separate project that unfortunately you didn't have a card in there, but the again, just in the meme space that you know, like people can participate without being, again, like a serious artist like yourself.
oh,
And
that's true because it's space. It was created by people for people, so there's
Mhm.
rules.
Yeah.
No rules. Yes, but like
I guess in
how
terms of your other point too about I hadn't really thought a lot about the mythos for frogs, but at least in terms of Pepe, my personal opinion that like or one of the reasons I think that Pepe became really viral is I watched the documentary Feels Good Man, and I think one of them was the purity of intention that Matt Fury for the had for Pepe when he was creating it. Was like very pure. Like you can tell what, like when he's talking, that the intention was really pure. Like he was just creating for the sake of creating and doing something really, really fun. Um I don't agree with some of the other stuff he's done since, but I think that that is one reason um why that version of the of frogs, the Pepe, like really took off, is that it had that purity of intention behind it.
um oh, it's the same thing. It's like people made it for people and people using it. And so it's like folklore. It's like something what was created by like I don't know this word, like 1 minute, please.
Yeah.
Subconsciously,
Yeah,
like
subconscious.
collective subconsciously. So it was created by all of us at the same time. And I mean memes and
Mhm.
popular Pepe memes. And that's why we're celebrating it. And right now, when we have all these borders, like official government borders, we have different languages, we have different cultures, but suddenly we have the internet, and we have a lot of opportunity to mix cultures and to live our humans experience together again. I think if we had no Pepe, there should be something else like this.
Mhm.
So because as I told you, so we are very different, but at the same time we have the same experience of living some basic stuff. So that's what is going on with crypto maybe. So we were separated by different rules and everything, like some aggressive actions with taxes and governments and everything. But right now, when I have the internet and we can, like all our minds can flow again in something one big and flow back. And that's how it's created again. So it's like a beginning of the world. We can live it again with we can live this experience again because we have the internet, because we have crypto, because we can exchange thoughts and funny pictures very quickly right now again. And I think things which are going on right now in cultures and in economics, it's like where it's very natural. It's very natural because things that we had like uh, with all this government document stuff, it was very unnatural. So yes, aggressive people and dominant structures are also natural, of course. But after all actions, there could be anti-actions.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
like life.
yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know, is there anything else you wanted to cover? I mean, we went over, we've covered a lot. We've gone over your kind of how you started out with, or why don't we, before we end it up, why don't you tell me about like your thoughts on crypto going forward? I mean, we've kind of talked about how you adopted it as an artist, and how it's has helped with your ability to travel like permissionlessly, with your own money. I mean, what are your thoughts about crypto going forward?
mm, uh, I can say that I told you I have an assistant
Hmm.
and he has kind of salary and I'm paying in crypto and so he has to use crypto. And I'm very proud of this fact that people can pay in crypto for my paintings and for my prints also. So I wish we can, maybe not right now, but it will be more easy to use crypto in some, maybe not small purchases, but big purchases like land or car or something. And in some countries, I don't spend a lot of time in other countries. I mean, after I left Russia, I moved to Armenia and then to Georgia. And both countries, a lot of people here speak Russian, and also that's small countries, and they have this crypto offices, crypto exchanges here. And I don't know, for example, if you want to, if you're Russian and you want to get a Japanese visa, or you want to go to Japanese language school, you need to prove that you have enough money, and this money should appear in your account not in 1 month. So for example, if you want to go to language school in Japan, you need to show that you have about, I don't know, like 20 or $30,000 on your bank account, but you also need to show that it wasn't like credit money, or I mean loan
Oh yeah.
money, or it wasn't like you took it, you, I don't know, from lottery,
Yeah.
or you earned it somehow officially. So for example, for me, I don't need Japanese visa, but anyway, if I decided to go to Japanese language school, I will have to play with my bank account and put $2,000-3,000, or yeah, I don't know, $1,000 to my bank account every month, like I'm officially have salary or something like this. Yes, and this thing is stupid. Or for example, I was thinking about receiving a startup visa to Spain, and you need to play kind of the same game. You need to show that you have money, and you will live for 2 years or kind of this on this money. That's also like about 20,000 euros. So no need to prove that, no need to collect it for years. But anyway, for some time I will have, if I received if I decide to do this, I had to go to my exchange to take thousands euro cash to put it on my bank account, to make a paper to show it, and then take it back, and I definitely will buy crypto again, because this whole experience with the rubles and even with other local currencies, that's so stupid. I mean, it's super crazy, because I remember myself when I was like in school, and $1 it was 30 rubles, and it was a lot for the time. And when you buying something, you multiply everything in 30, and then it's 60, and then in 70, but then in 50, but then it's something else. So, and when you have an official job, you have the same amount every month, and I hate it. I mean, people who received like 100,000 rubles 5 years ago, and they still have kind of the same salary, they become more poor in 2 times for a couple of years. And I don't know. I mean, I know that in Europe, for example, you still need to prove that you can pay for something. You need to connect with all your banks and official papers and official work and something. I even can't imagine this type of life. I mean, I had like official jobs, but usually in Russia, to avoid taxes, it's like gray zone. For example, they paying you officially $100, but in real life, you have like cash in little envelope every month.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And it's super common, almost, everyone is working like this. And so we talk like we have strict rules, but they don't watch you strictly, kind of this.
Mm.
And Armenia and Georgia, I can't tell anything about official stuff here, because I don't interact with official structures here, but everything is very liberal about crypto. But I'm trying to imagine how I could live in other countries, in USA, in Europe, in maybe even in Japan, because you like have a very you like have another one job to play the role for their government, for offices. It's such pain in the ass. I can't imagine this, because as I told you, even to write 3 papers for documents to ship painting, for me is impossible. I hate it. So yes, I'm lucky with this thing that I don't play these games almost all my life. I had I hadn't to play this. And I can't say that I'm an expert in discussing banks and loans and interactions with government, because I built my life in a such way that there's no need to do it, or I just don't spend a lot of time to do this.
Well, it was interesting hearing your real life experiences with that, and actually trying to, like, again, do real things with crypto and how that helped solve your problems. So that was really cool to hear that. Yeah, is there anything else you wanted to talk about or cover today?
Uh, no, I don't think so. I want to say that usually I sell prints just on simple wooden stretcher inside,
Uh-huh.
but now I added a beautiful option that you can order small prints in a golden frame. And now it's more luxurious and cool and like traditional art, and it's more nice. And I even made a little video about this in Instagram, but no one is really watching it. It's beautiful video. It's like I took my print in golden frame, and I have like some soil for cucumbers and tomatoes in my backyard, and I dig it inside and then put on my best rings and everything and my best dress, and digged it out of the soil very slowly and careful and beautiful. And you see how golden frame appeared from the dark soil. And I think it's such a nice video, and no one liked it. Please watch it and put like there.
I'm not on Instagram, so but I'll definitely post your
Thank
Instagram and
you.
your Twitter on the video description.
Because I was
So
sure that it's a brilliant idea to film it like this.
yeah. Well, cool. Well, we'll go ahead and call it there. I certainly appreciate you joining me today. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, and thank you for inviting, because several people during Pepe Fest, they told me that I should write you and ask you about, please invite you and please invite me to your podcast, and you suddenly appeared. Thank you.